Welcome to On the Origin of Legendary Species, a series dedicated to the study of creatures born from myth, folklore, fantasy, and imagination. Each episode, we examine a single legendary being, its origins, its traits, its enemies, and the cultural forces that shaped its legend. From ancient gods and dragons to cryptids, monsters, and icons of modern fiction, this is a natural history of the unreal. In the labyrinth of Greek mythology, among gods and heroes, lurks a creature of immense power and tragedy, a beast with the body of a man and the head of a bull. This is the story of the Minotaur. To understand this legendary monster, we must first travel back to the island of Crete, to the magnificent palace of King Minos. Minos, the son of Zeus, sought to solidify his claim to the throne. He prayed to Poseidon, the god of the sea, to send a sign of divine favor, a magnificent white bull from the ocean depths, which Minos promised to sacrifice in the god's honor. Poseidon granted his wish, and a bull of unparalleled beauty emerged from the waves. But Minos was so captivated by the creature that he broke his promise. He kept the white bull for his own herds and sacrificed a lesser one in its place. This act of hubris enraged Poseidon. The sea god devised a cruel and unusual punishment. He cursed Pasiphae, Minos' wife, with an unnatural desire for the white bull. Consumed by this divine madness, the queen sought the help of Daedalus, the master craftsman and inventor of the court. Daedalus, ever the problem solver, constructed a hollow wooden cow, covered it with a real cowhide, and placed the queen inside. The white bull was deceived, and from this union, a monstrous offspring was born, Hysterion, better known as the Minotaur. The creature was a terrifying hybrid, a symbol of the god's wrath and the royal family's shame. As the Minotaur grew, so did its ferocity and its appetite for human flesh. King Minos, horrified and unable to kill his wife's monstrous child, once again turned to Daedalus. He commanded the inventor to design a prison from which the Minotaur could never escape. Daedalus constructed the labyrinth, a massive, bewildering maze of winding passages built beneath the palace of Knossos. The Minotaur was cast into its dark center, forever trapped in solitude. But a monster must be fed. Round this time, Minos' son, Androgeus, was killed in Athens. Enraged, Minos waged war against the Athenians and emerged victorious. As a condition of peace, he imposed a gruesome tribute. Every 9 years, Athens was forced to send 7 young men and 7 young women to Crete. These 14 youths, known as the Tribute of 7, was sent into the labyrinth, where they would wander lost until they were inevitably found and devoured by the Minotaur. This horrific cycle continued twice, casting a shadow of sorrow and fear over Athens. But on the third occasion, a hero emerged. Theseus, the son of the Athenian King Aegeus, volunteered to be one of the 7 young men. He vowed to his father and his people that he would slay the Minotaur and in the bloody tribute once and for all. Upon arriving in Crete, Theseus caught the eye of Ariadne, King Minos' daughter. She fell instantly in love with the brave Athenian prince and decided to betray her father to help him. She secretly met with Theseus and gave him 2 crucial items, again provided by the ingenious Daedalus: a sword to fight the beast and a ball of thread. She instructed him to tie one end of the thread to the labyrinth's entrance, and unwind it as he went, so he could find his way back out of the twisting corridors. Following her advice, Theseus entered the maze. He navigated the disorienting paths, the ball of thread marking his route. Deep within the labyrinth's dark heart, he confronted the Minotaur. A ferocious battle ensued. The hero against the monster, man against beast. In the end, with his strength and the sword from Ariadne, Theseus triumphed. He slew the Minotaur, ending its reign of terror. Using the thread, Theseus retraced his steps and led the other Athenian youths out of the labyrinth to safety. He fled Crete with Ariadne, but their story takes a tragic turn of its own, with Theseus abandoning her on the island of Naxos. He then sailed home to Athens, but in his haste, he forgot a crucial promise to his father. He had agreed to change his ship's black sails to white if he returned victorious. Seeing the black sails on the horizon, King Aegeus believed his son was dead and, in his grief, threw himself into the sea, which now bears his name, the Aegean Sea. So, what does the myth of the Minotaur truly represent? At its core, it's a cautionary tale about hubris and the consequences of defying the gods. King Minos' arrogance sets the entire tragedy in motion. The Minotaur itself is a complex figure. It is not purely evil. It is a product of divine punishment, born of a curse it did not ask for. Trapped and isolated, it becomes a symbol of the beast within, the primal, and tamed nature that resides in the shadows of civilization. The labyrinth is a powerful metaphor for the human mind, a complex, confusing space where we can lose ourselves and confront our inner demons. The story has been interpreted in many ways throughout history. Some scholars suggest it reflects the historical subjugation of Athens by the powerful Minoan civilization of Crete. The tribute of youths could be a symbolic representation of a real political or economic tax. The bull was a sacred animal in Minoan culture, frequently appearing in their art and religious rituals, like the famous bull-leaping frescoes found at Knossos. The myth could be a Greek retelling of their relationship with this powerful, bull-worshipping culture, framed through a lens of heroism and eventual liberation. The figure of the Minotaur has proven to be incredibly enduring, evolving far beyond its mythological origins. In literature, it has been explored by countless authors. Jorge Luis Borges, in his short story The House of Asterion, reimagines the monster from its own perspective as a lonely, misunderstood creature waiting for a redeemer. In this telling, the Minotaur isn't a mindless beast, but a tragic soul longing for an end to its solitude, and Theseus becomes not a hero, but a welcome liberator. This theme of the sympathetic monster has become a common modern interpretation. We see it in fantasy novels, where Minotaurs are often depicted not as singular monsters, but as a species or race. They are frequently portrayed as proud, powerful warriors, sometimes barbaric, but often with a strong sense of honor and community. They can be allies or enemies, complex characters with their own culture and motivations. Series like the Chronicles of Narnia and the Percy Jackson books have introduced the Minotaur to new generations, keeping the legend alive. And of course, we cannot talk about the Minotaur today without mentioning the world of gaming. From the earliest days of Dungeons and Dragons, Minotaurs have been a classic dungeon-dwelling foe. They are the perfect guardians for mazes and underground lairs, embodying brute strength and a primal threat. Their presence instantly signals danger and challenge to players. In video games, they appear in countless forms. In the God of War series, Kratos has an epic and brutal battle with a colossal Minotaur. In games like World of Warcraft, the Tauren are a playable race clearly inspired by the Minotaur, but portrayed as a noble and spiritual people. In strategy games, role-playing games, and action adventures, the Minotaur is a staple, a versatile and instantly recognizable archetype that can be a mindless boss, a cunning enemy, or even a playable hero. The Minotaur's journey from a singular figure of divine punishment to a diverse fantasy race shows the power of mythology. These stories are not static. They are living things that we constantly reinterpret and reshape to reflect our own values and fears. The Minotaur is no longer just a monster in a maze. It is a symbol of the struggle between our civilized selves and our primal instincts, a representation of isolation and a testament to the enduring power of a good story. From a cursed beast in a Cretan labyrinth to a noble warrior in a fantasy world, the Minotaur continues to captivate our imagination. It reminds us that behind every monster, there is a story, and often a tragedy. It forces us to look into the darkness, both in the world and within ourselves, and to ask who the real monster is. The hero who slays it, the king who created it, or the lonely creature trapped in the center of the maze. The legend lives on, and its roar still echoes through the corridors of our culture. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the labyrinth. You've been listening to On the Origin of Legendary Species. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing and exploring our collections, from dragons and cryptids to gods, demons, and creatures of science fiction. New episodes are released weekly, each examining a single legendary species in depth. Until next time, remember, legends do not disappear, they evolve.